Onside kick just happened. Let's see who's got it. Welcome in, Broncos country. The onside kick just happened. Onside kick, recovered by Denver. All right, Denver Broncos get a win, baby. Chargers say they have it, but they already recorded this Denver ball. Yep. All right, guys, that is it. Denver Broncos can take a couple of knees and get out of here with their 8th win of the season, Broncos country. Certainly wasn't the prettiest game. Offensively, we were only able to muster 3 points in the entire second half. Jarrett Stidham, overall in the day, I'd give him a C. We'll talk about Jarrett Stidham in just a moment. But right now, he's going out there to take the most important play of all, and that is a kneel down to end this thing. Down Stidham goes. One more knee, and that should do it, Broncos country. .58 seconds and ticking. What's going on, Five Nights at Freddy's? Good to see you. Says sweep of the Chargers complete. Let's go. Always a good feeling. And that will officially do it. Your Denver Broncos are victorious 16-9 over the Los Angeles Chargers. KC won. The division is theirs, sadly. That is unfortunate. I don't know if Denver's been eliminated from wild card contention, but there is a strong chance Denver's been eliminated from playoff contention now with that KC win. People below me are watching it. I can see it's 4th down and 27 in Kansas City right now. All right, guys. Always fun to get to do the walk afterwards. Not having to do the walk of shame is always great. Joaquin says, let's go Broncos, let's go Broncos. Definitely feel good for Jarrett Stidham, man. Wasn't his greatest game, but ultimately he played well enough for the Broncos to get the win. And post-game fireworks. Final home game at Empower Field at Mile High this year results in a victory, Broncos country. Broncos officially moved to 8-8 on the season. With a win next week at Las Vegas, they can clinch their first winning season since 2016. They're playing Victorious by Panic at the Disco right now. I can definitely appreciate it. 67 total plays on offense for the Denver Broncos, 16 total first downs, 33 minutes, 46 seconds time of possession. Jarrett Stidham, I believe, was 20 for 32 through the air, 212 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. I thought Stidham did a really good job making decisions at the line of scrimmage. The accuracy at times was a little bit shaky from Stidham, I thought, and that did lead to some negative plays. But on the whole, man, he played well enough to get the win. He's doing his post-game interview down there right now with CBS. Defense coming over with some nice turnovers for us, forcing an Austin Eckler fumble. Also had a blocked punt and a blocked field goal in this game, Broncos country. All right. Excuse me. Little shot of the field here. Since KC did indeed win the division, or is on the verge of winning the division, excuse me, sorry. That means this is indeed the final game at Empower Field at Mile High this year. Always good to close it out with a win, Broncos country. Always good to close our home schedule out with a win. There's Jarrett Stidham. There he is right there, guys. There's Jarrett Stidham right there. And you know he's feeling pretty good right now. All right, Broncos country. Stidham heads up the tunnel. There's Riley Dixon. Just a couple players left on the field. What's going on, Maverick? Says, what's up, Gage? Happy birthday. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. Broncos gave me the best win I could ask, or best present I could ask for on my birthday, and that's a victory. Excuse me. All right. Excuse me. All right, Broncos country. Let's head over to the bar area, as we always do, and we will go break this joint down. Eliminated, bro. Sorry for you. Yep, I knew that was coming. With a KC win, Denver has officially been eliminated from playoff contention. However, next week, we can still clinch our first winning record since 2016. I will gladly take that. Year one of the Sean Payton era, getting to lead us to a 9-8 record, absolutely. Raiders have also been eliminated from playoff contention, so next week's game is going to virtually be meaningless. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. Merlot says, end the season next week by beating the Raiders? Absolutely. Get the losing streak against the Chiefs and the Raiders off of the Broncos' back. Yeah, 100%, man. Gridiron Blitz, my business partner on the Syndicate, host of the Detroit Lions Syndicate. So if you or somebody you know is a Detroit Lions fan, be sure to check out Detroit Lions Syndicate. And again, guys, just like Grid reported right there, with the series of events today and Kansas City getting the victory over Cincinnati, Denver has officially been eliminated from playoff contention. DJ says, happy birthday, bro. Let's go Broncos. Thank you so much, dude. Appreciate you. You know Sean Payton is going to play for pride and try to win next week. Oh, absolutely. The Broncos are in a position where I don't think they really care about playoff contentions. Thank you so much, Esteban. I appreciate you, bro. At this point, if the Broncos can leave year one of the Sean Payton era with a winning record at 9-8, even with no playoffs, they will absolutely take that. I have strong reason to believe the Denver Broncos will trade up for a quarterback in the 2024 NFL Draft. They will do whatever they have to do to get that. But right now, they're focused on trying to get this last win to close out the season the right way on the road against the Las Vegas Raiders. I thought that overall, our run game was kind of lackluster, especially in the second half. First half, we were running the ball really well. Went on one really nice drive there. Jarrett Stidham hit little Jordan Humphrey on the run. Oh, they're showing the play right there. Little Jordan Humphrey on the run. He breaks a couple of tackles and scoots his way into the end zone.
Oh, he hits him.
Oh, sorry, man. King says, thank you for your coverage throughout the year. Absolutely. Absolutely, Broncos country. This is my second full year covering the Denver Broncos, and this year was such a fun year, man. So many good memories, from the Kansas City game to the Buffalo game. This is some of the most fun I've had covering this team, or just being a fan of this team, in a long time, Broncos country. Even though the season didn't exactly end how we wanted it to, it's been a pretty damn good season, Broncos country. Pretty damn good season indeed. All right, guys. We got 22 people in the house so far. Please be sure to leave a like on this stream. I would really appreciate it. Helps push us out, helps us get seen by more and more members of Broncos country, just like you and me. Broncos country is fired up as always. Let's go, baby. One win away from the first non-losing season since 2016. Esteban says, did a great job this season. Thank you so much. All right, we are almost there. Maverick said, I had fun this season. Yeah, dude, me too. And it's been a real long time since I could truly say I've had a lot of fun covering this team or just rooting for this team. Even if we made the playoffs, we weren't going to do much. Next year will be better. Agreed. That said, though, just to get that monkey off of your back, man, and finally make the playoffs for the first time since the Super Bowl, that's personally the goal for Broncos country. But, again, man, I cannot complain at all with how this season has ended. Sorry. Got to get all this layers off here. Here we go. Woo! We need to stabilize the quarterback situation first off and then get a pass rusher. I agree. Jarrett looked a little bit up and down. He did. He definitely did. I would say my overall grade for Jarrett Stidham on the day was a C. He did a good job operating pre and post snap at the line of scrimmage just based on what I saw being at the game. I can't wait to dive into that even more. Sorry. I can't even wait to dive into that even more when we watch the TV copy. So, but I thought that one thing Jarrett Stidham did struggle with was accuracy, especially throwing over the middle of the field. He had several throws where the ball was behind his receiver and the receiver had to make an adjustment to go catch it. There were also some really nice plays that Jarrett made with his legs. One scramble that got called back because of a hold. He made a nice play creation play, obviously, on the touchdown to Brandon Johnson. So there was some good from Jarrett Stidham today, and there was some bad from Jarrett Stidham today. Defensively, I feel like we did a really good job there in that first half, holding them to just 3 points. Obviously, in the second half, we did loosen up a little bit and allowed them to kick 2 more field goals, but between getting a blocked punt and a blocked field goal, it helped the Chargers leave quite a bit of points on the board. He underthrew a lot of passes. Yes, he definitely did. And there's a couple out there, like the one to Philip Dorsett. It was against cover 2, and they had the safety split, and I don't think that was a good ball at all from Stidham. He underthrew it by about 5 yards. Otherwise, it could have been a walk-in touchdown. Who are you going to root for now in the playoffs? Yeah, let me know, Broncos country. Who are you guys going to root for in the playoffs? Me, I kind of have to be unbiased a little bit, just being an analyst. I definitely would love to see the Buffalo Bills be able to win a championship, or the Detroit Lions. I'd love to see an underdog get it. I can't believe the offsides for the second time in 2 games on the 1-yard line. It's nice that our season made it until New Year's Eve. 100%, man. 100%. And even though the Broncos have been officially eliminated from playoff contention, there's still plenty to play for in the final game against the Raiders. It's going to be really, really fun going out to Vegas. Jarrett Stidham getting another start under his belt. I'm curious to see the growth and improvement from Jarrett between game 1 and game 2. DJ says, I give Jarrett a C+. He made that big shot to Judy that Russell kicked getting sacked on, and Judy wide open. Yes, that was a good throw right there, and it helped set up. Well, that one was towards the end of the first half, and unfortunately they did miss the field goal on that one, but you gave Will Lutz a chance, and on that particular throw, I thought that Stidham did a good job climbing up in the pocket and standing in the face of pressure. Maverick says, I'm originally from California, so I have to root for my second team, the Niners. Hey, man, that's a good team to root for. Obviously has plenty of Broncos connections there with the Shanahans and John Lynch. So I totally would respect rooting for the 49ers, absolutely. Esteban says Ravens or Colts. Vulcan says anybody but the Chiefs. Merlot says the Ravens. I definitely would also like to see the Ravens. I'm rooting for the Browns. Maybe they could finally get over. That'd be cool, man. See Joe Flacco lead the Browns to a playoff win. That would be absolutely cool. I don't care who wins the Super Bowl as long as it's a good game and KC doesn't make it. 100%. I think that's fair. What's going on, man? Video bomb. Oh man, my group chat's going nuts right now. So yeah, man, definitely some good choices right there. And now I feel like Broncos country can officially turn the page forward to the draft season. I strongly believe the Denver Broncos are going to trade up in the draft this year in order to get their guy. And for me, I like Jaden Daniels quite a bit. Michael Penix Jr. is the only other quarterback I have evaluated so far. Not too impressed with him, honestly. Processing is a little bit too slow. The injury concerns are there, and he just doesn't have that great of arm talent. So I actually have a low second round grade on Michael Penix Jr. Jaden Daniels, on the other hand, I have a top 10 grade on just because of his ceiling. He does have a slightly lower floor, but the ceiling with Jaden Daniels, man, is insane. And if he comes into the NFL and gets the right coaching right off the bat, the sky is the limit for Jaden Daniels. Bronco fan says Jaden might go to the Raiders, sadly. That is very possible, but I wouldn't be surprised at all if Denver tried to jump him. What about Drake May? Him I have not evaluated yet, nor have I evaluated Caleb Williams or Bo Nix. I've only evaluated Penix and Jaden Daniels to this point. Once I get some all-22 film of those other guys, then I will properly evaluate them. I'm trying to hold off and get some all-22 before I have to resort to evaluating using the broadcast footage, because that isn't going to give you the full picture. So I did have all-22 for Washington, and I did have all-22 for LSU. So I'm working on trying to get some all-22 for the remainder of the prospects so I can properly evaluate them. Just based on the two that I have evaluated, though, I am smitten over Jaden Daniels. So that's where the Broncos are focusing their attention now, aside from winning this final game against the Raiders, is how can they get into position to get their franchise quarterback. Same for J.J. McCarthy. I have not evaluated J.J. McCarthy yet. I will do that as soon as I get tape. Michigan tape should be pretty easy to get, so that in all likelihood is going to be my next eval, and then probably Caleb after that. I'm thinking the North Carolina tape might be a little hard to get my hands on, but since it's a top prospect, I would absolutely think that somebody will have it that I can get my hands on it. Robert for $2, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you. Offense seems just as good without number 3. I thought the offense ran really, really well today. Certainly there were some throws that Jarrett Stidham was unable to make that I think Russell Wilson would have made just in terms of arm talent. But in terms of operating pre-snap at the line of scrimmage, I thought that Stidham did a really, really good job with that. So that's something that definitely goes as a positive in the scorecard. Drake would do good. I think Russell goes to Pittsburgh or the Saints. I definitely think Pittsburgh is a strong possibility. I know that Mike Tomlin really likes Russell Wilson, and they have a strong relationship. So I could see the Pittsburgh Steelers for sure. We got Danny in the house saying, first, happy birthday, buddy. Second, Broncos winning tonight is a good New Year's present for me, and it is a good birthday present for me. Sound Freak says, I say Stidham will struggle versus the Raiders. I think so too. Patrick Graham, the Raiders defensive coordinator, is quite familiar with Jarrett Stidham and some of his tendencies from going up against him in practice. So I could very easily see Jarrett Stidham struggling against this Raiders defense. Thank goodness I watched more quarterbacks in college this season. Yeah, see, I don't really watch like college football during the season. I did this year for CU, but otherwise I'm mostly watching during the off season to get my scouting in, and I hold it off also so I can really get that football fix during the peak off season when I need it. It is my birthday. Robert turned in the big 2-4 today. Any word on McGlinchey? Fleming did fine in my opinion. Yeah, I thought Fleming did perfectly fine. He was more than adequate at right tackle. I have not heard anything on McGlinchey aside from it being a rib injury. I know that Delarian Turner-Yell suffered a knee injury that did not look good. I don't know if the broadcast talked about this or not. Javonte Williams did go into the medical tent. I believe it was during our second to last drive offensively where we kicked the field goal. So that is something that potentially bears monitoring. I believe he did go back into the game though. So could be a nothing burger, could be something for next week. We don't know. Happy birthday, fellow Broncos fan. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. Bradley says, we scored only 16 points against a wounded Chargers team. So much for a spark. Fair enough, man. I didn't think Jarrett Stidham was a world beater out there, and I don't necessarily think he provided a spark to the offense. What did provide a spark to the offense, I thought, was Jaleel McLaughlin in the first half. The way that they were utilizing him on swing passes, he was able to find some running room. The offensive line did a really good job blocking for McLaughlin, so he's a guy that did provide a spark offensively. In the second half, the run game really tapered off, in my opinion. I haven't seen the stats, but just based on being at the game and observing things, that did definitely taper off there in the second half. So that's something that I'd like to see for all 4 quarters consistently in the season finale against the Raiders, is committing to the run game. And that's something the Broncos, I feel like, are going to have to do in order to make life a little bit easier on Jarrett Stidham. So, yeah, man, I think that there was a spark to this offense today, but did it come from Stidham? Not necessarily. I'm really excited to go in and properly evaluate Stidham on tape. I thought that he did a good job making decisions at the line of scrimmage, but the accuracy has always been a massive concern for me with Jarrett Stidham. It always will be. So that is probably the main knock that I'm going to give him on my final grade, but just based on the initial eye test without evaluating the film yet, I would give Jarrett Stidham a C+ for his performance on the day. Aside from that, man, I felt like our pass rush had some issues once again. The Broncos have to get a true alpha number 1 edge rusher this offseason by any means necessary. I'd argue that that is their second biggest need besides quarterback. Jonathan Cooper did have a sack, but it was one that Easton Stick kind of spun into. I'm not sure about other sacks today. I'll have to look at the numbers again for that, but I thought the pass rush was a little bit lackluster on the day. Our secondary did a pretty good job. I thought that Jaquan McMillan had a strong game. Pat Surtain had a pretty strong game. Fabian Moreau played well. PJ Locke did have a couple of missed tackles and had a couple of negative plays, but on the whole, PJ Locke just continues to rise and rise and rise for me. So defensively, it was a pretty strong day. Obviously, holding the Chargers to just 9 points, no touchdowns, and overall, man, I thought that defensively they played with a nice spark today for sure. He played good, what you wanted from Jarrett after starting one game. Long as the offense did what they had to do when it came in, that's all that matters. He was a second string for a reason. Yep, 100%. Danny asked, how much are Broncos season tickets? I don't know. I don't have season tickets. I buy all my tickets individually. So I know it's probably more than what I could afford on a journalist's salary. We had some great breakouts on D, but yeah, we need that star edge rusher still. 100%, man. And the Broncos have not had a true alpha number 1 edge rusher, in my opinion, since prime Von Miller. So, on the subject of edge rushers, I saw that Bradley Chubb suffered a really nasty injury today against the Baltimore Ravens. So thoughts out to the ex-Bronco there. I hope it's not as serious as it initially appeared because they showed it on the Jumbotron. Thank you so much for the $3, Robert. Happy 24th. Singleton and Sanders next year, maybe. I think it's possible. Drew Sanders, oh man, I still think he needs to show more before the Denver Broncos can truly depend on him as a starting player. And then Singleton, I haven't been all that impressed with him either, to be honest. I think the Broncos might look to revamp their off-ball linebacking core. Josie Jewell is set to be a free agent this offseason, so I don't see it very likely that he returns to the Mile High City. So you did draft Drew Sanders with a fairly high pick for a reason. The Broncos could hope that he develops next year. To be fair, Shaq Barrett broke out after we traded him, so maybe we have one already. Yeah, maybe. I think that the best prospect right now at edge rusher is Nick Benito, followed by Jonathan Cooper. Those are the guys that, in my opinion, have the best chance to emerge. Baron Browning's great, but he's more of a Robin than a Batman. He's a good Robin, but he's not a true number 1 alpha edge rusher. Max Crosby might be a problem next week. He's always a problem. Anytime you have to go against Max Crosby, he's one of the best edge rushers in the NFL, and the Broncos might be starting their backup right tackle in Cam Fleming, who, again, I thought played really well today. He did a good job whenever he had to go against Khalil Mack. So I could very easily see the Broncos being able to handle Max Crosby, but it's somebody that you have to account for basically no matter what whenever you play him. So moving into this game next week against the Las Vegas Raiders, the Broncos, the only thing they really have to play for is, of course, pride, and then clinching their first winning season since 2016. They have a strong chance to do that. The Raiders also will not be really playing for much, as they did lose today to the Indianapolis Colts, eliminating them from playoff contention. How did Fleming do when he filled in for Mike McGlinchey? I thought that Cam Fleming did really well. I can't wait to go and evaluate it once again on tape, but overall, I thought that Cam Fleming held his own and did a really good job. I didn't think the offense missed much of a beat after Mike McGlinchey was out. All right, Broncos country, my phone is actually getting ready to die, so I'm probably going to wrap this a little bit short. We'll be heading back into the studio and doing some post-game videos afterwards, Broncos country, but overall, a good win for the Denver Broncos in our final home game. We moved to 8-8 on the year with a chance to clinch our first winning season, so I'm really, really excited for that possibility next week. I thought that Jarrett Stidham did what he had to do to get the win today. It wasn't pretty by any stretch of the imagination. The accuracy is a big issue for Jarrett Stidham, but on the whole, Broncos country, a win is a win. I don't care how we got it. We almost had 10 more points. I'm happy with the game, Robert says. Me too, man, but I'm really excited to once again get in there on film and evaluate it properly. All right, Broncos country, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you guys. We will be back in studio next week doing a live stream for our game against the Las Vegas Raiders. We'll be doing the live play-by-play, live commentary, all that good stuff. So thank you guys for riding it with me all season long here for these home games. I really enjoy coming out here and bringing you guys coverage from Empower Field at Mile High. It is one of my favorite things to do. Before we dip out of here, Broncos country, if you could just do me a big favor and leave a like on this stream, as well as subscribe to the channel if you have yet to do so. Those are two free and easy ways to show your support. Helps tell YouTube's algorithm to push us out and helps us get seen by more and more members of Broncos country just like you and me. DJ says, enjoy your birthday. Thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it. All right, Broncos country, and until next time,